The problem, though, is I don't know if you know the narrative, at least on the online articles, whatever, is you're like injury prone. That's what the tone of random articles are. And I never believed it. That's why I'm so happy to talk to you now because, how is it your fault there was a nail sticking out of a table? How is it your fault
Exactly.
that Ron Simmons kicked you in the gut and hurt your kidneys?
Exactly.
It's not, but
Uh,
they'll label you as injury prone somehow.
I wish everybody thought like you did and had a sensible way of looking at it. But all they knew is read these dirt sheets and, oh, Ahmed Johnson was mean. He was tough to work with. He was, hitting too hard. If that was the case, why when I was WCW, I never had one complaint about hitting too hard. I never had one complaint about not being sociable in the locker room. Not one. You call any WCW guy and they'll tell you he wouldn't like that.
Right.
And what are you telling me? WCW guys were tougher than WWF guys because they didn't complain or cry. So it was a bunch of bull, man.
Yeah.
It was a
I,
bunch of bull.
I agree. Anytime I read an article about anybody that says they were tough to work with, I feel like that's like the number one thing to say to like just cover up any problems. Like, oh, he was tough to work with. That's it.
Yes, that covers everything.
That covers exactly. Because then you're like, well, you connect some dots, and you're like thinking to yourself, well, maybe he was difficult to work with because if I connect this dot to this dot, it looks like he's tough to work with. But in reality, it's just people putting out these rumors to make sure they're covering their asses so they don't
Yes,
look poor. Like the people that are talking, whispering in Vince's ear now run the company. They run
exactly,
organizations. How did they end up?
exactly.
How did they end up there?
Hmm.
You
I
know,
wonder.
I wonder. Maybe some whispering. Man, Ahmed Johnson's
I
world
wonder that
champion.
to show you how much pull they had, man. They had that pull and they kept that pull. With Vince and everybody else, they kept that kind of pull with them, man. And like you said, here they are now running the company.
So obviously your experience with wrestling politics is not a good one. Now, did you ever have to politic? Because it feels like you didn't. It feels like you were just going to work, doing your job, going home. But like because it's hard. I imagine it's hard to deal with. You hear people talking about you, but then how do you counteract that?
Well, when I was there, I never heard any of this.
Oh, okay.
Any of this. It's when I left, all kind of rumors start coming out. Oh man, Johnson's difficult to work with, or he's mean, or he don't get along with the boys. And it wasn't that, man. It's just I had my own lifestyle, like the warrior said, and I had my own style, my own vision,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working toward that,
Man,
just
yeah,
like the warrior did.
right. And obviously, Warrior has a reputation of one thing. That's why I'm very happy to hear the story that you shared about him because I've asked many people who worked with Ultimate Warrior stories. I'm like, oh, can you share a Warrior story? They never come out positive. They always come out negative. But yet,
Jealous,
your experience obviously is completely different from every individual has a different experience with any individual in this world. So obviously,
right,
yours was different from me talking to a different wrestler from a different time.
right. And the
So.
thing about that is, I believe that you treat a man the way a man treats you.
Mm-hmm.
If you come at me wrong and treat me bad, then I'm gonna treat you bad. If you come
Right.
at me cool and very polite and up and up, then I'm gonna treat you right.
Of
But you can
course.
only judge a man by the way the man treats you.
I agree. I agree. And so, how we talked about it a little bit, but how disappointing were you feeling that you're going into this match with Taker and then suddenly you're yanked from this and they're using your hands as an excuse?
Oh, it was a big disappointment, man.